Hello, Mayor.
Morning. Thank you. When people, you start yelling at me, they can see me too. We ready to rope? That's true. Yep.
We're going to have to get them one.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso and the City of Ruidoso Downs. Ruidoso Wastewater Treatment Plant regular meeting of the Joint Use Board. It's March 15th. It's 10 a.m. We'll have a call to order. So roll call, please, ma'am.
Chair Crawford,
Here.
Member Jarvis,
Here.
Member Salas,
Here.
Member Jackson,
Here.
Member Walker, Member Walker,
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum.
have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending. This morning, we have 4 regular items. The first item is discussion and possible action on approval of minutes for regular meeting February 15th, 2023. Hopefully, you've all been able to review it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Member Jackson,
Aye.
Member Jarvis,
Aye.
Member Salas,
Aye.
Chair Crawford,
Aye.
Member Walker,
Aye.
Okay, now then we'll have the monthly report from our manager for the Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant.
Good morning, Councilors here.
So we're going for the Pepe look. Is that what it is? Council
meeting in the front, party in the back.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, well, I'm just curious.
You know what? I'm trying to sleep the stress away.
But if he starts coming in European skinny jeans and tight jackets, wearing leather loafers, we're gonna have to have a talk, bro. Yeah,
With no socks.
with no socks, we're gonna have some issues.
I'm like, I can't be wearing hats no more. You know what? My
Yeah.
wife's like, just.
Yeah, as long as that thing doesn't roll up on top of your head, we'll be all right.
No, it's like
We have a top knot on there,
Yeah, no.
Yakuza. We'll have to.
Tie me down and cut it off.
I just thought you got up late and were in a hurry.
Yo, it's okay. So I was just telling them last month ran great. I mean, except for that during the holiday. I don't even know when the holiday was. What the date?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever we were talking about your bays being full
Yeah,
and
and man, we're loaded up right now.
still loaded up even with all the dry.
It's the people in town right now, and then with the river up, there's something coming in.
So did we ever have a chance to get together to walk the sewer line?
Oh, thank you, sir.
Chair Crawford, the guys actually spent 2 days checking the sewer lines. We found the 3 locations where the interceptors come in, and I mean, there's normal flow coming in right now, and even with the river up. This weekend when we get the rains is when we're really gonna have to get out there and see.
So we didn't really find anything.
Not at all.
And that was in the part from the wide, the downs down too?
No, we didn't go down the downs. We just did from Gavilan, Sudderth, and the Mountain Gods, and then we went up Gavilan just to see, if there's anything that were, more flow or anything else like that. And then Upper Canyon, just to see, there's no more flow, but we're checking the manholes just to see if there's, any infiltration coming in the manholes next to the rivers, anything like that.
And then our lift station's been online 2 weeks at least.
And there, we checked the 2 lift stations, thinking maybe Upper Canyon, and I mean, it's hardly even running.
So we're no Sherlock Holmes here, but deduction, it's gotta be either that stretch in the downs or.
One of the things that I called Isaac last week and asked him is, after the guys checked the manholes, is the meter station there at Fruit and Bloom in Hollywood. To actually look at the graphs on it when it rains. And, I'm sure we're getting some. We just got to figure out when the water comes up, where it's coming from, and I'm sure, maybe there might be some in the downs.
Could be.
Another thing we've been doing also is there's inserts that go in the manholes, the top of the manholes. That way, when it does rain on the roads, stuff in there, we've been putting inserts in all the manholes that, are on the roads and stuff like that don't have them.
Because last time we were talking about it, we were talking about having to walk that either
walk the
through a
whole line.
backup, that it could have popped a lid somewhere. Because they're talking about them, for all the years we've been doing this, I've never heard anybody be concerned, by anybody, I mean the manager, be concerned about the bays capacities. And now we're talking about it. And we're making preparations for what it's gonna cost to open up that second one.
And that's gonna be great when we do that.
Okay, but
Because that, like I said, that gives us that million extra gallons of capacity. And now with people, what we're finding is a lot of people, I don't know if it's the legal marijuana, but a lot of people are coming and kind of just staying. I mean, when they're not, before they would bypass us and go to Colorado, they're coming up to the mountains, and hanging out. I mean, I'm not saying that's all it is to it, but we're just noticing that there's more and more flows, it seems like, on the weekend.
But on our production side, I thought to have him here. The production, from what I understand, is stable.
Right.
Right.
And so, and we're running 1.5 million gallons average still.
Yep, approximately. Last month it was 1.65, so
We were up,
it was a little bit higher.
But I mean, in the scheme of things, this is what I'm saying.
It's not even that much, though.
Well, but the end is the end result. The bowl is full. So are we not processing it as fast? Is it different material? I mean, it sounds like to me it's not that we're getting that much influx.
It's the material that's coming in, and it's that rain runoff. It's those dissolved solids that are inorganic.
But what I'm saying is if our production and our exit is very similar,
Right.
there can't be a whole lot of I. That's the point. I mean,
Right.
I'm no water guy, but 1 + 1, unless your sister's in your wallet again. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, Isaac, don't you have the ability to do an I test?
Not,
We used to have these boxes that constantly draw it out of the wastewater. When I first started, and they did one at Freedom Bloom, one, the headworks of the plants, and one up here. Isn't there some way we can test the strength of your wastewater at different spots?
we definitely see that, and we see that in our what's called a BOD test, our biological oxygen demand, as well as our TSS. And we know for a fact that whenever we get infiltration, our strength does go down. In other words, it should be running around 320 milligrams per liter, but we'll see it as low as 180 milligrams per liter. And that just tells us that it's getting diluted out with whatever's coming in. So we do that test.
I just wonder if we could do one at Freedom Bloom versus your headworks
Oh.
to see if we're adding it, because I know, the sections of the main interceptor, I haven't seen all of them open since they've been repaired. But way back in the day, we used to have to go break those lids out because they were tarred in, and I don't know if that's some of those fields where they irrigate down through there, if some of that irrigation water is getting to it.
And one of the things that Dr. Jackson had brought up is, a lot of the short-term rentals, I'd say 90% of these short-term rentals have jacuzzis. So after every time somebody leaves, they're draining those jacuzzis also. Are they draining them in the sewer, or are they draining them on the ground?
All the ones in my neighborhood are on the ground, which
That's good. I mean, that's,
I don't know if they're
Good for
supposed
us.
to or not, but
They're not, well, because they're so chlorinated, they shouldn't run it out onto the yard or anything there. But it happens. I mean, at least when I change out mine, I give it about 2 or 3 days and wait till the chlorine's all dissipated, and then,
yeah, I know,
put it
we're
out
getting
there.
infiltration. There's no doubt about it.
Adam, did they check down Paradise in that area also?
They did.
Where's the manholes on Paradise?
There actually some in Paradise.
Okay.
And then there's some right on the edge of the road there.
Okay.
Like, Phillips Circle, you can see that one. You can see all the ones coming up right there. Phillips Circle is our telltale, because that's actually off Paradise. When it comes down Paradise, it hits the manhole at Phillips Circle and actually goes through that dip and comes back up. So that's really where we can see where everything's coming off. Because that was one of the main manholes we wanted to check, because at Hull and Paradise, the Arroyo, there's a manhole that's actually sits down where it crosses the whole road. And we want to make sure that we weren't getting any, infiltration there.
what's the suggestions?
We're just gonna keep on walking, and especially when it starts raining. If we get a rain, I mean, I don't want it for Isaac, but that's kind of what we need. We need to see where.
So we know what Plan A is, so what's Plan B when you just start getting to the brim?
We're going in the middle of the night and doing chemical cleans, and we're having to manipulate the plant. Like this morning, I went in at 4. I had a guy there since 3. Tomorrow, we're gonna go in at 2 and try to do some things in the middle of the night when the flow does go down that we can't do even in the morning. It's like
What does that look like when you say do things?
what we'll do is if a basin is acting up, a lot of times we have to take it offline, bleed air out of it. We're finding a lot of that happening right now. And then air in it. And what happens is it sucks the least. It's the path of least resistance. So when a filter gets plugged, a lot of times it'll pull air inside of it and it'll shut the basin down where we have to bleed that air out of it. So we just go in early in the morning to try to get the basins just running, just to treat whatever's in the facility. So what we'll do also in the morning is I'll take one basin offline and then we'll clean it with chlorine. And then give it an hour of soak time. Normally you want to give it 4 hours, but since we're under the gun, I'll give it an hour of soak time, bring it back online, and usually it starts filtering a little bit better. And then I'll take another basin offline, do another chemical clean on that one, and then usually I try not to do more than 2 or 3 in the morning, because then we got to try to pump our EQs that are full to try to treat that water out in the morning time.
Is the air creating foam?
No, sir, no. And you can see, just looking at our basins, how, they just look kind of thin. So we haven't been wasting or removing any kind of solids out of the facility. We're trying to keep that bug population up to handle that infiltration that's been coming in so that we can continue with our biological nitrogen and phosphorus removal. It's a fight. It's a battle that we're having to do, but I mean, if we can make it to the weekend, hopefully people start going home. I know there's still people on spring break next week, but it's not going to be to the caliber of this week. So it happens every single year, but we're just kind of, we got set back with that, when that rain that happened a few weeks ago and the snow melt. That snow melt and it just filled us up. From one day to the next, it filled us up.
That's the weird thing is, you were actually, your I&I was going way down with
Yeah.
the slip line, and all of a sudden, it's just back up.
Well, that's why I was wondering if it was backed up and there's a manhole open somewhere.
Well, we'll walk ours this week. I'll have them walk from Freedom Bloom, I'll have them walk the entire line of the plant.
And
That'd be great.
we'll do the same thing.
See if we see any mud areas around the manholes or something.
Because it's coming in somewhere and
And we noticed it when we violated in August. Ever since then, it's like when we did get those rains, the big rains, after that, it seemed we were doing really well, like we were saying. And then all of a sudden after that, every rain we get, man, we just get a ton of water. Because we were doing better, and that's when it changed, during that rainstorm.
all right.
Other than that, so we did do some fog samples. We took a chance, took one at the Apache Travel Center. I guess the restaurant was closed, so we did get a non-detectable on fog. Our Palmer loop was 24.7, and the end of the Mountain Gods was 11.8, so they're doing what they're supposed to, at least at that time. Any questions on anything as far as the plant ran last month, which we met permit, we did everything we were supposed to.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Isaac, not really with this, but we're changing over how we're doing our fog stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can get your fog guy and have him help train our fog guy?
Sure. He goes out usually on Thursdays.
Okay. Maybe I'll call you this week and we can set up something for the following week, because our code enforcement's gonna start doing it because they can issue violations.
That sounds great.
And I'd
Even
like to
next
have
week.
them trained properly.
Next week would be good, or the week after.
Okay. I'll just call you and we'll get together.
This week's kind of a
Yeah.
funky thing, but yeah, and normally he'll go out like at 9 or 10, usually when like restaurants really start opening up.
Okay. Thank you.
And what he could do is swing by over there with you guys, and you guys can follow him and
Right.
do whatever, and he'll do it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Because he actually took Ashley around one of the times with him.
Okay.
So that's a good idea. Thank you. Any other questions on anything?
I don't have anyone else?
No, it looks like that's the lowest level I've ever seen for the inn on the farm.
Yeah.
That's just a snapshot though, always.
I know.
But hey, the number looked good though, so that's a good thing.
Okay, go ahead, number 3. Item is discussion and possible action to approve replacement of the existing fine screens as recommended in Mosen and Corbin's technical memo addressing the plan to upgrade the entrance works fine screens at the regional wastewater treatment plant.
Mayor, councilors, so they did a technical memo on our options on our fine screens that are in our entrance works, and they came up with a Huber drum screen, a rehabilitation of the existing, and a new replacement with the same kind of unit, but just everything upgraded and brand new. I went through and I kind of just highlighted everything that I found. And the reason why we need these, they're just they're older. They run 24/7, 365 days a year. They run about 20 to 22 hours every single day. So they're always in operation because they run off of a level differential. So as they get plugged, they kick on and they clean all the stuff that's coming in. And what these particular ones that are with their age, they're allowing fibers and a little bit of debris passing through them, which are getting into our filters and are plugging them up. So Huber came out and suggested a rotary drum screen. And unfortunately, it was going to take too much demolition and reconfiguration of our influent channel. So that kind of got thrown out as far as those Huber drum screens. And then the rehabilitation, we were just they would go through and they were going to take them apart and replace things as needed. Well, as you're replacing things as needed, they were going to need a machine shop on hand. It might cost way more than just to get brand new ones. So the best option in this technical memo was just to go ahead and get, they're called in-kind units, which are basically the same thing. And all they do is they cut a hole in the roof, they get a crane, they pull one out, drop a brand new one in, basically just wire it up, put it online, and we're not even down that long. With the refurbished and with the other ones, we were going to be down for God only knows how long. And then the second one, they take it offline, get a crane, pull it out, put the brand new one in, and we just go. And the total price that they gave us on that was
$235,000.
Yes, sir. I know that sounds crazy, amount. I wish it was lower, but the way how everything's just so expensive that was the best option that Molson and Corbin came up with. And I think that's the best option for the village of Ruidoso, just to go ahead and get those brand new ones. And it should last because they're upgraded equipment. We found even with our older ones that the welds were failing on them from early on. So I talked to them about that, and they have upgraded all their welds and the overall construction of them. So we should be getting some good units in if we just go ahead and pull the trigger and just get these new fine screens. I think this is a good move because this is the starting point. We start at the fine screens, and then the next thing we do is we get those future basins online, and you get rid of the debris that's coming in, and then you add that 1 million gallons of extra filtration, and we're good for a while at least, is what I'm thinking.
Does the 4 million include the cutting of the roof and replacing that and?
That's on page 18. They kind of gave a breakdown. Excuse me. Sorry.
Okay.
They did give estimations into that money as well. I'm trying to see where.
They got contingency money. It's just not very much. I didn't see.
Right there on the top, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the first line, remove, modify, and replace portions of metal roofing.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that they have to do that.
Now, this isn't just an engineer's estimate. This is a hard proposal.
It is, but I'm gonna, double check the numbers. We run into a couple issues when they do it in the Word format. The numbers don't add up, but at this point, I can check those. I'm hoping there's not a mistake. we've run into a couple in the last 2 days.
Yeah, they run into a big one on their own, so. And you get a little ketchup, salt, pepper that, and eat that, baby.
Isaac, are these screens finer than the old screens?
No, they are the exact same because I did want to go smaller on the, as far as the millimeter openings, but what that would do, it would lower the amount of capacity that they're able to treat. So with a lower opening, instead of treating 4 million gallons each, they can maybe only treat 3 million gallons. So when we have these influxes of flows, when there's people in town, we got to be able to treat as much as we can through those. That way we don't have a spill or something weird happen.
That's what I was reading in here where it says your Kubota filters or whatever, they weren't very enthusiastic about this because of those fibers, but
Yeah,
there's nothing else you can do to help with that?
no, I wish
You're
there
just kind of
was.
stuck with what it is, huh?
Yeah. And that's why we do these manual cleans, which are coming up in a few short weeks. We're gonna be doing our 12-hour shifts. We're gonna take a basin down. As soon as we treat all this water that we're dealing with during spring break, we're gonna take the basins down and start cleaning them manually. We're gonna pull each filter out and disassemble them and manually clean them.
Scrub them down.
Yeah.
So on the fibers, when you say fibers, and you're saying because of the wear and tear, the age and everything on the existing screens, the new screens will handle that, or they're saying it's still gonna be an issue?
Okay, so what they did is they took a sample, and you can look after the fine screens, they're allowing debris to get through them, and it's the sealing and it's just the old equipment on them. Once they put the new ones, it's gonna definitely help. It'll be like when the plant was still brand new and they were working 100%. We're just finding as the years go by, they're just allowing more and more debris to go through them. And that's why you replace that first, because you, on a MBR plant, you want all the debris caught at the beginning.
So Isaac, does Ovivo do the complete project?
They do they only provide the equipment. We're gonna have to have the contractor install them.
So you have to procure a contractor.
And it probably, I'm not sure if it would be, maybe AUI or.
We use them for one phase, right? AUI in the past, and then we had the other company.
Yep,
3.2.2.
and it should be pretty straightforward. Like I say, they put basically a hatch up top where that'll be a permanent type hatch where if we ever have to do any kind of maintenance and need a crane out there, we could always use that in the future.
I see.
Isaac, Mr. Chairman, Isaac, how long will it be, do you think, before you'll have your additional basin ready?
No, it's the next one.
That'd be great. We could do it as soon as we get this project done.
And
At least get the ball rolling on that, because it is part of the master planning, and we were talking about that yesterday. And so the first part of it was doing the entrance works, which is the fine screens. The next one would be to put those future basins online, and that's coming from the master plan.
I'm just concerned because we're coming into summer.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'll tell you what, though, if we could possibly, find the points of those infiltrations, we'll be in a lot better shape.
Isaac, on 3.2.2, can you just talk about that a little bit for me, please? Because I'm kind of, maybe I'm not understanding it.
Where's that one? I'm sorry.
Page 7, I believe.
7.
Oh, yes, sir. I can do that.
You highlighted it, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, so the drum screens, they got upset because I basically told them there ain't no way we could put those drums. So they said, well, we have a band filter. Well, their band filter, their smallest opening is the 3.5 millimeters. So in other words, it's bigger than what we already have installed at the facility right now.
Okay.
So all we'd be doing is going backwards with that particular screen.
Okay.
That's why I highlighted that, because that was their other option.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, that's why I did that. And I'm sorry, I just kind of skipped around. I should have done better, but yeah, that's why I
So
highlighted that.
your current filter, the Kubota filters we currently have are good with this screen system?
Yes,
Okay,
they are. Yes, sir.
okay.
I mean, it would be nice to be able to have a Huber drum screen, but
Right.
with all the rechanneling and demolition it was gonna take,
Just can't do it.
yeah, you just can't do it, because those are some of the best out there, but in our situation, but you know, I did get, it's a salesman, you know, and I'm like, hey, man, if we get these brand new ones in and reseal them, the screens that we're thinking about purchasing would do just as good as your drum screens, and he said yes, so, you know, it's all a game, and, but when it all boils down to, if you have good equipment, good sealing around everything, it's gonna work just as good as the other. Any other questions on anything in here? Like I said, refurbishing it,
Yeah, I don't, there's too much there, caustic stuff and wear and tear. It's been in operation a long time. You know, I tend to side with your assessment on the deal. And we have the money
like I said,
for
you know,
just such event.
it's, I hate to see that price, but we gotta start, like I say, start somewhere, and that's the perfect place to start. You start at the beginning, and then you work your way, because a plant like this, it already costs a lot of money, but these upgrades are gonna be worth their weight in gold in the long run, because if not, we're just gonna have future problems and
You're right on that.
and fights that we really can avoid if we just, you know, spend it on these fine screens, get those 2 other basins online. It's gonna be expensive, the initial price, but once we get that, then some of the burden on the plant can be lifted. We can even run it even slower than what we're running it right now, so that these filters even last longer and we don't have to have any kind of, you know, fights like we're having to have every weekend. Every weekend, you know, it's kind of a fight, you know, because we're always having to prepare and get ready. It's always been like that, even from back in the day on the old plant.
Right.
But that's why I just don't want it to be like the old plant and wait till the last minute and be forced to get a brand new something. What you do is you just start putting money in slowly but surely and just get things done, knocked out as needed instead of waiting. Because we've already kind of waited on these fine screens, I think, for a few years now, and it'd be nice to start getting the ball rolling on them and get them done.
I agree with you, Isaac, because the investment now, the high dollar investment now pays off in the long run.
It really does.
So my question to you is, how often do we have to change those again?
You know, we've made these last 11 years, and we could have possibly made them last even longer, but the way how that atmosphere is and their entrance works, it's so, there's gases in there, there's hydrogen sulfide. We do have an exhaust fan, but they're just getting eaten up in there.
That
Because it
makes
is an
sense.
enclosed building.
Right.
It's a very violent, you know, atmosphere, so they're just, the housing is corroding on them, I mean, and they're running all the time.
And I guess my concern is poking the hole through the roof. I was always told, don't do any holes on the roof or whatever, if you could avoid it at all possible. And when Randy was redoing Plant 3, he put a movable roof on it to do the same, well, not the same, but to have the access to his wells and pumps. You know, I know that would cost quite a bit to get the same system that he has over there, but I was just thinking, would that be worth it while we're poking a hole and putting a patch back on there, which will leak? It'll probably, you know, depending how well the contractor is in replacing it.
What it would be is, it would be an access hatch is what it would be, more like a
Right.
permanent type, something that can be opened.
Open back up.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I was getting at, since,
Yeah.
especially if you're gonna be working on the next basin and stuff and have to do the same process.
And hopefully we could alleviate having that price whenever we do have to replace them again. Cause you'll already have those hatches built on there, so they'll be able to just get the crane and just get it out.
Right.
Cause I was always, that was one of my worst fears is if one of these does break on us, I was always wondering, how am I gonna do it to get
get
these
in there.
things out? Cause they're massive and they're heavy. And they didn't put a crane system in there during the design, so I was always kind of
Corbin for you, so.
kind of in the back of my brain that we'd be kind of, up a creek, yeah, if one of them ever went down.
So will it open as a sliding opening, or is it more like a gate opening that opens on the top of the roof? where you-
They're wanting to put, some sort of something like on a latch,
Uh-huh.
kind of like our lift stations around the facility. There are latches that you can get into, but hopefully it'll be a better design. I mean, they're gonna be a lot bigger. I'm not sure if it's gonna be just one massive opening or 3 separate openings where you'd be able to pull out each individual unit. And I'm not sure, that'll be during the construction, I think, if, whatever that,
So Isaac, have they designed all this yet, or is this just a technical memo? Do they have a design of what the hatches are gonna look like?
yeah, they do, and that,
Okay, 'cause we'll need to look at
I didn't
that.
see it, but it just, the way it reads is just removing and modifying and putting back. So I think we need to see that. What are we getting for 10-2? That's what I was.
You're not gonna get,
You're not gonna
much.
get much for
Yeah.
10-2, so.
yeah. And like I said, this is just the beginning, just to get the go-ahead, and then we can start to just see, hopefully it's not much more than that, hopefully it is that much.
So I did find the paragraph where it says a 16-foot wide strip of metal roofing and decking would also have to be removed to move the trusses. So they're already talking about moving trusses. That's on page 7. After installing the 2 perforated belt screens.
Yep.
So,
No, I see, Mayor. The first 4 items on that cost estimate are the roof.
Yep. And the trusses.
there you go,
5.
yeah, so add all that up to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like, they're even thinking they could do it in one day, cause it's, like I say, you just, I mean, the crane, I mean, once you disconnect, that's best case scenario, but normally when you get a crane out there, you just want them to get in and out, you get them
Of course.
one, and then one and one.
So these will be pretty large, because you're installing 2-hinged galvanized steel curved roof hatches spanning the pitch of the roof, each approximately 70 inches width and 135 inches length. And there's 3 of those?
Yeah, and they're 2 tons each. So they're very heavy.
So they have to be lifted with a crane?
Yep, lift it
Yeah.
out and one
I mean,
put
you
in.
have 2, yeah.
Like I say, I was always worried that if we ever had to do that ourselves, we were gonna have to break things down into small pieces to get it out
Right.
through our door. But luckily, we've been, pretty fortunate to not have to do that. But that's a possibility in the future if we don't do this.
Right.
And that would cost a lot of money to try to,
Of course.
running around trying to do that in a pinch.
So when they say undefined elements, do you know what that means?
I've been highlighting things.
Yeah, like $394,000 worth of undefined elements. And then general conditions, 99,000. Shakedown, that's one of my favorites, 20,000. Local bid factor, 25%.
And professional services, $596,000. What is that? Who is that for?
I don't know. So can we get a breakdown? I mean, I'm all for approving this, but you know what I'm talking about on the final estimated project cost sheet? Page 18. When you get down to past the electrical adder of $327,000. Salvage disposal, you know, all of these things. And they got each one, you said each one of those units is 2 tons?
Yes, sir.
And they got a 2-ton crane. But you get down to the subtotal, you're at 1,967,000. Then you got to see that undefined elements.
Mm-hmm.
General conditions, shakedown, local bid factor.
And I could call them and see, like I said, cause it, being a technical memo, I wonder if these are just all maybe above estimates, hopefully, is what I'm hoping for. And then, I can get a better breakdown, if that's what you would like.
Okay. Do you want to help him with that? Yeah, call him and,
I've already got things highlighted.
okay, yeah.
Okay, great.
So I think what we can do is if we can get these things broke down, and then if we need to have a special meeting to bring it back to approve, because it's obvious that we need to do something, and then get right in line to open up that second base, so we need costs on what that's going to cost
Yes, sir.
to get that thing open.
And they're, Sauter Miller is working on that. They've been doing some work on that. We never got a technical memo on that going.
Okay. All right, so what do you need from us today? Because we're obviously going to have to postpone this.
Yes.
We can postpone it to a special meeting or postpone it to the next meeting and then bring it back early if we need to.
That'd be great, and I'll work with Costello, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys considering this, because like I said,
Oh, yeah, we
this is
gotta
the right
do it.
move. I hate to see us spending so much money, but it's the right move to do small. I mean, these seem big, but these are actually small portions of the facility that need to be done.
And as the chairman said, we do have the money right now in the account, so.
And there's $1 million that are suspect in there. I was just kind of curious if we could get that
Of course,
defined.
get that more.
And then, do you have any questions, Joey?
No, sir.
Well, Mr. Chairman, if it's time sensitive too, you have that early meeting, that's a mayoral meeting. If that works for you and for the other mayor, we could maybe have that meeting then.
Oh, on the agenda set? Yeah.
Because this is a fairly sensitive time.
It is.
Time-sensitive issue, and I'm thinking material costs and the rest. And if that would allow Isaac a time, and also,
When is that next week?
Could you
It's,
just approve
always
it
the
contingent
first-
upon
always the first
clarification of all these
Wednesday of the
fees or
month.
Oh,
something?
yeah, that could be.
You could always, because you still have to sign the task order, you can
Yeah.
back out if it's not legit.
A point was brought by Member Jarvis that, we could do a approval contingent upon. That might move things along pretty quick, and then we could have a review because the order will have to be, contract will have to be signed, and we could still consult with you or the mayor or another member to look at that. Do y'all feel comfortable with that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, you want that motion?
Member Walker, do you have any comments on that one?
Sorry, I was on mute.
That's okay.
It sounds good to me.
Okay. So what we can do is if we can get a motion to approve with conditions that we clarify what each one of these undefines are, and then find out if this is a good contract or if it's a swag, which it sounds, to me, I think it's a lot of swagging going
That's
on.
what sounds like to me too.
Yeah, so we can go with that. But I realize and it's becoming more critical every meeting we have about these other additional bays. And
Yes, sir.
so I think now's the time that we've got to move. So if we could do that,
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the replacement of existing fine screens with brand new in-kind band fine screens from Oviva. The entire project for these new in-kind band screens is estimated, and that's the underlined word, at $4,235,000, including GRT contingent upon further definition under the estimated project costs, specifically those of undefined elements and others as become investigated.
Second.
okay, any final discussion? Okay, roll call, please, ma'am.
Member Jackson,
Aye.
Member Jarvis,
Aye.
Member Salas,
Aye.
Chair Crawford,
Aye.
Member Walker.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
And now then, we got the big boy. He's in this room as much as I am lately. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on change order number 5 with Smith Co. Construction for the ratification increase of 27 calendar days for substantial completion, date of March 24, 2023, and final completion on April 24, 2023, due to the address for the Circle Lift Station needed to be changed from 2938 Sutter Drive to 100 Main Road. Yes, sir.
Chair Crawford, so as, like it says, when CID came up to do the inspection, they could not make the control panel or the meter hot until the address was changed to 100 Main Road. Being, then their justification was 911 addressing, which, I mean, I don't.
We're
see-
still working on.
There's not a structure there, so they just said that wherever you're gonna enter to access that is where the address needed to be from. So working with our P and Z department and Stephanie, we did get the address changed and got it fulfilled. So that held them up for about 2 weeks, trying to get the inspector back up here and, you know, for them to actually get a crew back up here to make that hot.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
And so, in this completion, are they the ones responsible, or is it our old friends, Moles and Corbin, with putting up some sort of a barrier fence with the decorative items? Is that all on us?
It's all on us.
It's all on us, because
And
we,
I've actually spoken with AUI, the contractor we have doing the hazard mitigation project, and they're gonna give me a quote on doing that for
and
us.
then you got an eye on Mrs. Brookings' property there too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it looks a lot better since they filled in a lot of dirt and packed some stuff down, but it still didn't look like it originally was presented.
And we'll get that rock cleaned up, take care of Miss Brookins down there and get some seating and the fence, and I think it'll look a lot better.
Adam, I think you're working on the culvert also with AUI.
AUI is also gonna bring
On
it.
that big one, what were they gonna do there?
They're just gonna what they're gonna do is they're gonna bring it 20 feet back where
Uh-huh.
it's supposed to be and kind of cut at an angle and put your headwork.
Right
facing the
there,
way.
a screen or something over it?
Yeah, we'll put some dirt and some rocks around it so it's kind
Keep
of.
kids from climbing in it. Okay. Or bears. All right, if everybody's understood, then can we get a motion for item number 4, please?
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the ratification of change order number 5 with Smithco Construction for an additional 27 calendar days for substantial completion of March 24, 2023, and final completion on April 24, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, second. Any final discussion? Roll call, ma'am.
Member Jackson?
Aye.
Member Jarvis?
Aye.
Member Salas?
Aye.
Chair Crawford?
Aye.
Member Walker?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time today. Is there any reports? Would anybody like to say anything? Have anything to comment on?
Not of me.
Member Walker?
No, I think we're good. Thank
Okay,
you.
You bet. Okay, well, that concludes our agenda for today. This meeting is adjourned.
Good job.
Hey, Isaac, send that to Nicole so that she could put it on the Monday morning email on the calendar.
Because I'm actually gonna be out of state.
Okay. And I'm gonna make you a shirt that says, council meeting in the front, party in the back.